massive human trafficking. It's a record 288 people arrested.
They're not reporting the real numbers.
The numbers are segmented and they are fictitious.
I started my career in 1997 in the United States Border Patrol. It was one of the most violent times in recent Border Patrol history. I made my bones and my reputation on that border. I believe what is happening on the border today is intentional.
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them.
Our own government is facilitating the absolute destruction of the American immigration system. And I can prove it point by point. I'm unafraid to speak the truth. This is just data-driven and experience-driven.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is America. This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain. This is not the 1930s. And every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified.
That's happening in the United States of America. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process, no oversight, zero accountability happening in the United States of America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? Bull, we're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here in this country. And so I'm deeply proud that I had the privilege of signing the nation's first bill to address the issue of masking, also to require you have simple identification, to your point. I mean, if some guy jumped out of an unmarked car in a van with a mask on, tried to grab me, I mean, by definition, you're going to push back. And so these are not just authoritarian tendencies. These are authoritarian actions by an authoritarian government. You saw what Stephen Miller said last week. This should put chills up fine. Called the Democratic Party an extremist organization, basically a terrorist organization, saying he's going after his enemies. You saw the tweet that Donald Trump sent out, Truth Social, basically telling Pam Bondi, I want these 3 people taken out. That's happening in the United States.
When I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Now, I never lived through the slave patrol period, but if you know the history of policing in this country, then you understand that they were born out of slave patrols.
Those ICE agents not shot or hurt. We do not know, however, the motive of the shooter. That still remains an open question and will be under investigation, and we'll be continuing to ask our sources more about that. But what the Department of Homeland Security has pointed out is that this same facility back in late August also had to contend with a bomb threat at that facility. So certainly ICE has been contending with additional assaults, attacks, and threats to their facilities. But
this needs to stop. Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong. To every politician who is using rhetoric, demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop. To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop. This has very real consequences. Look, in America, we disagree. That's fine. That's the democratic process. But your political opponents are not Nazis. We need to learn to work together without demonizing each other, without attacking each other.
I said in March, Sean, back in March, I said, if this hateful rhetoric doesn't stop, there's going to be bloodshed. Someone's going to die. I've seen this movie before. I've been doing this for 41 years. It's never been this bad. And of course, the left said I was crazy. But there's already been 3 shootings just in Texas. There's a shooting at a CBP facility trying to kill a Border Patrol agent. He picked the wrong facility. That was a SWAT training facility, and they killed him. Then there was another thing just south of Dallas where they attacked an ICE facility, and an officer got shot in the neck. Now we have another assassination, and where an alien died. And it's just, and I'm telling you, I'll say it again, unless the rhetoric stops, it's not over. And it's scary. I'm afraid for the men and women of ICE every night. Every night I go to bed and I pray for the men and women of Border Patrol and ICE that they go home safe to their families. They're American patriots. They're enforcing the law. And it's I've never seen anything like this in my entire career, and that's 41 years.
Law enforcement. Because here's what happens. Because here's what happens when Democrats like Gavin Newsom did say that these people are part of an authoritarian government. When the left-wing media lies about what they're doing, when they lie about who they're arresting, when they lie about the actual job of law enforcement, what they're doing is encouraging crazy people to go and commit violence. You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell, and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
Welcome to Truth with J.J. Carrell. ICE shooting. Some stupid savage climbs up on top of a roof and indiscriminately shoots his gun, has no real aim, but he hits a van, killing 3 illegal aliens waiting to be deported, then kills himself so he can rot in hell. I have been offered, they call it a rehire. So they're, in order to beef up ICE and Border Patrol, and I live in Middle America, I'm not moving my family back to the border, or I would re-up with the Border Patrol. But I have been offered a tentative offer. I've gone through all my background. I'm just waiting on it's called EOD, entry on duty date, start date in layman's terms, with ICE. Because I need to get back in the game, because I feel compelled that I'm going to have to be part of the physical solution as well as the intellectual solution, meaning podcasting and interviews that I'm doing now. So this is very important to me. And it has struck my family and my wife in particular. My son thinks it's great because I'm going to get in there and I'm going to take care of the bad guys. But my wife knows that she did this for 24 years as I managed large task forces, small ATV units that just responded to violence on the border. She thought she was done. But now I'm getting back into the fray. And now you just show up to work. You don't even have your vest on, right? You usually leave your vest in your locker. You carry your weapon, but you don't have your tool. You don't have your tools with you. So you just park in your car and you're about to start your shift, and some dude is on a rooftop with you in his sights and shoots and kills you. Or you go into a neighborhood and someone's just sitting on the roof, or somebody just walks up to you and shoots you. That's the world we live in right now. This is the law enforcement world that is normal. Why is this normal? It's because the left are demonic. The left are evil. I played Ted Cruz in that cold open. I've heard this from several people, and I expected to hear from Ted Cruz as well, because he's not going to do anything. Come on, man. Fat, overweight dude. He's not going to do anything. He's a good talker. That's why he's a politician. That's why he's in the Senate. I don't want to hear about how we need to tone down the rhetoric. What we need to do, and what must be paramount, is all hands on deck. Enforce the law to the fullest extent. ICE agents, have your head on a swivel. Be ready to shoot. Be ready to take care of one another. I implore Donald Trump to release the military and have units that are cross-designated as law enforcement and immigration officers under the military code, and then at the very minimum provide multiple military personnel as cover for ICE agents. So if I'm going out into Middle America and I'm starting to serve warrants, or go into agricultural fields, or go into chicken processing, meat processing plants, and arresting large groups of people, or even if it's just one person, I want at least 5 to 10 military officers in their tactical gear providing protection for me and my agents. Anything less than that, you're just waiting for an ICE officer to be killed, a Border Patrol agent to be killed, And just so you're clear, those ICE officers are supplemented with IRS, FBI, DEA, ATF, state and local. We're talking law enforcement across the spectrum is now have a target on their back. This is not hyperbole. This is not, well, you're embellishing. No, this is the truth. I wrote it in both of my books. I did in my documentary, and I talk about this, and I'm not going to backtrack because I'm absolutely on target. As my wife said last night, everything that you've written about, everything that you have told and said was going to happen, JJ, has happened. And this will happen. And what is this? There will be massive bloodshed of illegal aliens, bad guys, citizens, and unfortunately, in the line of duty deaths of law enforcement officers, because the left will never allow us, the people that are on the right side of history, that are trying to eradicate these people from our country, they are never, ever going to allow us to do it. So they're going to attack us. Donald Trump, working within the Constitution, he needs to butt up on that Constitution. He needs to begin to arrest these politicians. There is a very fine line, I'm aware, between saying what you believe and what you think is going to happen and inciting riots, calling us Nazis, telling us, as Hakeem's Jeffrey, who has basically an IQ of a donkey. That man and everyone around him is telling you that we're going to dox every ICE agent. How in any world is that considered okay language? Why isn't he censored? Why is he not demonized? Well, in the Congress, well, why isn't he? Because do me a favor and physically look at the people that are leading us. Stop what you're doing and understand. I want you to look at the people, physically look at the people. Are there any big, strong, muscular alpha males leading us? Come on, I'm sitting here. I'm trying to rack my brain for it. Lindsey Graham, never seen a weight in his life that he ever lifted. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem's Jeffrey, Speaker Johnson. Speaker Johnson looks like a 1980s televangelist. I grew up in Louisiana. I know exactly who this guy is. There are no alpha males. Do you know why Pete Hegseth stands out in the sea of fat, flaccid males in DC? Because he's physically fit. He stands out. He's not a huge dude. He's not 6'3", 230. I think he's probably, 5'10", maybe $175 soaking wet. But he's physically fit. He can run circles around people. He's a warrior. That's why he sticks out. We are run by some of, if not the most, dumbest people on planet Earth. The dumbest people. I played in that cold open, Ghetto Crockett. Is there anyone that butchers the English language more than her? She's an embarrassment. Why is not Black America ashamed of her? If some white guy said, yeah, I represent white people, and began to speak in such inarticulate ways and butchered the English language to somehow sound more street, I would denounce that person immediately. That person doesn't represent me. That person's an ignoramus. That person is grotesquely stupid. I have nothing to do with them. But no, what does Black America do? They embrace her. And what does white America do? Remain silent because we're cowards. They have decimated the white population in America. No one said anything. Artificially destroyed it. Blacks are killing whites at unprecedented rate. Blacks have an assault rate, violent assault rate, almost 50 times that of white Americans on blacks. 50 times. Not 5 times, which is horrible enough. 50 times. And no one says anything. Muslims, and I'm going to talk about this today or tomorrow, depending on how much time I have today on my show. 3 Muslim men named Mohammed, blah, 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 Abdullah, Abdu, whatever. 3 Muslims with those long-ass names were in Texas shooting their guns at children saying a prayer on a baseball diamond. And they said, well, we were just target practicing. What? There's a baseball field. It's a rec center. Why would you shoot anywhere near a rec center? Unless you wanted to kill Christians. I just got off a phone with someone that I know that his kids play on that field. His kids play baseball. As he said, last weekend, my kids were on that field. My kid could have been killed because of Muslims. We live in one of the most violent times in American history. We live also in one of the most lawless times in American history. And here's the real catch to it all. In our history, we've had extreme violence. We've had extreme lawlessness. But you know what we always had? We always had a couple really, really hard dude alpha males. Always. They just came in and laid the wood and said, nope, this is not how we're doing it. Wild West, if I got to kill you, I'm going to kill you, but I'm getting law and order. We're going to have some peace and tranquility in this town. And they did. Name me someone in the government outside of Pete Hegseth right now. Tom Homan. That's going to rally the troops and going to stop this. If you're honest, you're going to answer to me, JJ, there's no one. And you're right, there is no one. There is no one. This doesn't end well. I'm going to tell you, and you timestamp this. This shooting yesterday in Dallas, this assassin of Charlie Kirk, this violence, this is just the beginning, people. This is simply the beginning of massive, massive bloodshed on the streets of America. You have a race war. You have a ethnic, religious war. You have a vile, vile, demonic societal war with the Democrats. We are at war on every front. You may, as I've told you before, you want to stick your head in the sand? You want to act as if it's not going to happen? You will be one of the first and the most violent casualties in this war. I have to sit at the dining room table and trying to reassure my wife that I'm going back to ICE, and my wife is all on board because she's like, you're just built that way. God is calling you. If God gives you this job, then you're going to take it and you're going to move forward. So we just left it in God's hands. If you want to infuse me into this physical war, then let's go and I'm ready. But she's terrified. She's absolutely terrified. And she knows that I'm not going to wear a mask, that I refuse to wear a mask. Not cut from that cloth. I'm cut from an old school, different law enforcement cloth where I want you to see my face as I'm coming right at you. I am so angry. I am so pissed off. I got a guest waiting to come in on Thursday. Before I do, the sponsor of our show, and I love having this sponsor, to be quite honest with you, because it ties in exactly what I believe and what needs to happen. And that's sat123.com. Why do I keep talking about sat123? Because you need to be prepared. Look at what's happening in the world today and understand it's going to get worse. This is not, I'm not Nostradamus coming up with, incredible prediction. I'm just telling you from a normal guy, a guy that was in law enforcement, I'm telling you, if you can't connect the dots and see that we are going head first into absolute violence and chaos, pain and suffering, then I don't know what to tell you. We have sat phones in our cars so that it's emergency. We can contact each other. My son has a ballistic backpack that he wears every single day. He goes to school. You have no idea it's a ballistic backpack. Nobody in his school would know it's a ballistic backpack until my son told everybody that he has a ballistic backpack. It's beautiful. It's black. He's going on his second year. All you moms and dads out there that are watching, my son is using the same backpack 2 years in a row. You know that is like a Guinness Book of World Record. There are no backpacks that withstand the brutality of a middle school child. Ain't going to happen. Sports, school, putting rocks in there, putting animals in there. Who knows what the hell's going on? That's how good a quality it is, and it's going to save my son's life. God forbid we get to that point. God forbid. God. I'm not going, if I would go back to the Border Patrol or I'm rehired on ICE, I won't walk out of my house without my vest on. I won't. So I'm going to send my wife and my son out there with a fighting chance as well. That's the world we live in. They're going to have connectability with a sat phone. You get a free sat phone when you get their subscriptions. Subscriptions less than $100 a month for 150 minutes a month. They roll over for like $10 more. But you get a brand new cell phone, a sat phone, excuse me. I have the generator. I have the Starlink. I have everything that I need to survive and be connected to the world and to my family. Screw the world, to my family. You don't have to believe in the end scenarios that I do. You don't have to. But you do have to be prepared. And I'm talking specifically to the men. You need to be prepared. You need to be ready to fight and protect for your family. Go to this website, sat123.com/JG, or call the number on the screen and just go through their website and see if you need it. You're going to need it. I am a man that does not have a lot of hope. I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't believe in I know hope is like a driving force. If I have a little hope about my life and future, that's what drives me. And I have that. But when you talk about the world, America, the left, the Democrats, the rhinos, I don't have any hope. I don't. I'm a realist. I'm a stone cold effing realist. I just see things the way they are, and I don't want to Pollyanna. I don't want to color it in rose colors. I don't want to make it fluffy. I just see things as I see things, and the way that I see it is we are hurtling to massive chaos, violence, pain, and suffering. With that great news, let's bring in Kim Yater. Kim, how are you doing today?
JJ, Carrell, good afternoon. I got to tell you, I received some threats yesterday, and I sat here in my office and told my husband as he walked into the room, do you know what my husband did? Dropped down and started doing as many push-ups as he could. That's a man. Men. But here's also the deal. We don't give way to fear. So yes, all of these things are happening, and we're going to go deeper into that in just a moment. And there's a reason for it. We don't give way to fear. And I really believe that in this time where we're feeling weary, we're feeling like, oh God, it just gets worse, one thing after the other. Do not become weary in doing good. For at the right time, we will receive a harvest if we do not give up. Now is the time more than ever that your work is needed, JJ, that you've got to continue to expose the truth. And every single one of us in the arena that we're in, we get to be the truth tellers, and we are not victims. We will not allow ourselves to be victims. We're going to get shored up and equipped with fifth generation warfare equipping, with the equipping that also comes from God. And we're going to take this fight on head on.
I think we have to take it head on. I don't want to hear another politician tell me to tone down the rhetoric. My side's not doing it. My side's not threatening people. Our side's not threatening people. Our side is saying, hey, why don't you just go into your little freaky corner and do all the freaky stuff you want? Just leave us alone. But we're past that, Kim.
Yeah, we are past that. But here's the deal. If we allow them to do their little freaky stuff, that's like saying, oh, a little bit of sin is okay. Oh, it's a little bit. It grows. In sin, darkness collects and it magnifies. So we are seeing a microcosm. What we saw in Jean, this guy who opened fire yesterday. They say on the bullets, there were inscriptions on the bullets that were anti-ICE. They say on his social media, they found things that were Antifa, following Antifa. So if we really take a look at what President Trump is about to do, he is going to do an executive order. And this executive order is to dismantle domestic terrorism. Because JJ, you and I both know there are 1,000 terrorist groups, Islamic terrorist groups, who are bent on taking this country down, killing everybody in it, and growing their families, okay? So the reality is, the way the law is set now, we cannot treat these existing groups as terrorist groups unless they are labeled terrorist groups. The good thing is, if he puts this executive order in place, that now gives us power, because if we don't think that it is about to go off, just like you said, they are getting intercepted calls of these jihad Islamist groups literally saying, I'll see you in whatever their heaven is, and they're crying because they know they're going to blow themselves up. They're going to sacrifice themselves for the greater cause to get their virgins. So things have got to be in place right now to label these guys as terrorists, and then we get them out of this country, and we, the people, join forces with taking our country back.
I want to play a very quick clip just so our audience understands the gravity of what's happening, because they, the left, are labeling us. They're labeling us Gestapo, SS, Nazis, and that sets the tone for, who doesn't want to kill a Nazi? Who doesn't want to kill Hitler, right? Because of the supposed, and I put quotes over that because I don't know anymore. History, people are discovering things all the time about Hitler and Germany and World War II. Obviously, he was a monster, but isn't it interesting, that quote, that the victors of war get to determine the history of it? And it's very interesting. I don't trust or believe anything. However, listen to this congressman, this very, very disgusting congressman named John Larson from Connecticut. It's like 10 seconds. Go ahead, play this for us, Thomas.
This is not Germany. That's the SS and the Gestapo. This is the United States of America. Unmask yourselves.
Unmask ourselves. Now, listen, I have an issue. I may be one of the lone people on the right. I understand why ICE officers and some Border Patrol agents cover their face. I get it. I get it. However, ain't no way in hell I'm putting a mask on, Kim. Never going to happen. They're going to know exactly who I am when I punch them square in their face. They're going to know it. They're going to feel it. And my face is going to be seared into their memory. They're going to wake up in midnight with cold sweats because they're having nightmares about me. But this savage, this congressman is calling ICE officers Gestapo and SS. When they say that, why is anyone on our side, Kim, shocked at the manifestation of calling people those names?
It's sick. It's sick. And I think people are caught up in the web of confusion. All they're hearing is want, because they don't have distinction. It's our responsibility to give them the clear distinction of what is right, what is wrong, what is really happening. That's why your show is so important, because most people aren't even listening to what's really going on. So when we begin to see that those that we've put in places of leadership are not leading us, but they're actually supporting this kind of, it's terrorism. It's terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
It does not build up. It breaks down. And then my thought is this: who's paying this guy off? What's he getting out of this? What is being hid? What is he afraid of being exposed? Because he is sold out.
They are sold out. I'm going to show you a video. And this is Kristi Noem on, I apologize. What's her name? Caitlin, the very horrible, host. I think it's MSNBC or NBC. She's interviewing Kristi Noem, and Kristi Noem, we have it up on the screen. There's two things I want you to comment on. Okay. And I'm not being mean. I'm not being a chauvinist pig. Okay. I want you to listen to what Kristi Noem says about how you, Caitlin, how you in the media lie. You never tell the story. You never tell the truth. And then at the same time, I want you to look at Kristi Noem and compare the way she looks from Caitlin. Now, on a given day, Caitlin is an attractive woman, but she doesn't look attractive. She looks vile. And it's because of what's in her soul. She is not attractive to me at all. I'm not talking about sexually. I'm just talking about, this is a person I don't find attractive because whatever's happening inside of her is manifesting on her face, and her face is not inviting. It is grotesque. It's vile. And then you look at somebody that's rooted in truth, Kristi Noem, who speaks very genteel, like a proper lady. She looks beautiful and she's inviting. I just want you to focus on those two things. I just want your comment from not from a man's perspective, just from a female. Go ahead and roll this one, please, Thomas.
I would love to see these Democrats denounce these criminals, these individuals that are out there trafficking drugs and trafficking our children, raping our girls and boys and selling them, and people that are out there committing criminal acts, robbing and murdering individuals. I haven't seen these Democrats do that, and they should. Gavin Newsom should. Tim Walz should. They should denounce these activities. Crockett. We should have all of them stand up and say enough is enough. American citizens deserve safety, and we're not going to stand behind any criminals and support them over our law enforcement officers.
But as the DHS secretary, would you say that Democrats are a domestic extremist organization? Yes or no?
Views are extreme and they don't align with the American people at all. And I wish that our media and I wish reporters like you, Caitlin, would talk about the victims every day that we interact with, that we send you the stories on that you refuse to tell, about the poor little girl and baby that was strangled yesterday by an illegal criminal and died. That baby died overnight. That was the first news I got this morning when I got up at 4 a.m. Then the next news that I got was that the media had reported that a father had his child taken away from him, when in all reality, this poor little autistic girl was abandoned by her father.
But CNN didn't report that, right? Right, Secretary Noem?
You can stop
you know
there
what,
a little
Caitlin,
bit.
just
I mean, so let's focus on how we'll go to her look second. What do you think? Do you agree with Kristi Noem that, hey, we send you stuff constantly on CNN, MSNBC, you left-wing media, and you don't report it? You make up lies. You actually make up lies about stealing autistic fathers and leaving autistic kids on the side of the road screaming. Nobody does that. That's against policy. I know. That's right. I was a manager in the Border Patrol. None of my guys did that. I would have their necks if they did that. It's all lies. It's all propaganda.
That's exactly what it is. Caitlin is knee deep in propaganda, not even knee deep. It's over her head. You don't even see her anymore because she's sold out. She's getting a paycheck. She's buying into the story, right? I mean, it is sick what you see. This is why President Trump has said, you know, the media, it's fake news. It is fake news. I'll tell you what, we sat in rooms with General Flynn. General Flynn, a warrior. We're ready for him to come on out. I mean, he has been fighting behind the scenes. He's been fighting closely with President Trump. And he has been saying it's our responsibility as digital soldiers to bring the truth into the light, to expose the news, the real news, and to be excellent at it. Now, this CNN thing, their numbers are dying. They're dying out and they're desperate. Desperate people do desperate things, and they're going to continue to pour the propaganda. Love Kristi Noem. You see beauty, you see light, because that is truth inside of her reflecting.
Do you see Caitlin from CNN as an attractive woman, but she comes off as unattractive? She looks unattractive. Am I just seeing this wrong? Am I making something that is not there, or am I correct that the vileness in her body, in her soul, and the way she lies, it is manifesting in her look? That's not a pretty look of a pretty woman. Do you agree with that, or do you think I'm off?
Well, I completely agree with that. What I see in Kristi Noem the beauty, because there's light and there's truth. In Caitlin, she is repressed. She's holding truth back. And it is absent of light. It is darkness. Honestly, I pray for the woman because she's sucked into the lie. And I pray for her freedom, that her eyes are open, that she gets to a point where there's so much pain for her. She's experiencing that pain because she's sitting in the lie. The only thing that will give us freedom is truth. Truth is what sets us free.
I have one more video for you, and it's, of all people, Dr. Phil. But Dr. Phil is shown to be, right? So let's see Dr. Phil. I saw this and I was like, you know what? He's right on. He's been right about a few things. And I just saw this. I was like, you know what? This kind of says what I feel, but in a very different way. I'm more direct and I'm more harsh, I think. So I just want to play this. It's about 2 minutes long. I just want to get your reaction to it. Go ahead, Thomas.
He defined his mission around civil debate, around showing up on sometimes hostile campuses and saying, debate me. He welcomed any challenge and relished every moment of those interactions, but his death and these ridiculous, disgusting, grotesque celebrations that followed prove something chilling. We've crossed into an era where some Americans don't want to debate their opponents. They don't want to win the argument. They want to erase the opponent. And when murder is mocked, when death is celebrated, when it's sensationalized and glamorized, politics isn't a conversation anymore. It's a graveyard. It will deter people being willing to speak out. And as someone has said, when we have answers we can't question, we're in a real sad state of affairs. And that, sadly, is the real story.
What's your take on that?
Well said, Dr. Phil. You know, we've picked up the axiom, fight like Charlie, all over everything we're doing, because Charlie fought like Jesus. You know, the Bible says, the heart is deep waters. A wise man draws out the heart. Charlie was a man of wisdom and discernment because he would ask the questions. He would bring out the truth, get to the root of the belief system, and then he would insert the truth that comes from God's word, the real truth. powerful, powerful. And that is what Jesus did. I mean, think about it. Jesus was in the marketplace. They would meet in the synagogues, but they would meet out in the open because sometimes they were spewed out of the synagogues, and they would speak the truth so that the people could discern. They'd ask the questions. Jesus would create the parables, tell the stories so that people could relate. Right? So I love what Charlie Kirk did, and the fact that people that love evil, that love darkness, that hate the light, are making his death a mockery is revealing to the times that we're in, because the war that we are in right now is a spiritual war. It is light in darkness. That is what it is. Light versus darkness. Now the light will win, but we must take on the scripture that says there is no fear in love, because perfect love drives out fear. We will not fear. We will walk in perfect love. And love doesn't just mean we forgive and we have grace and we have mercy. It means we are bold. We take action. We stand for truth, and we get rid of wickedness. And that's why we're here today, calling every single American to stand in the gap. We, the people, take our power back by walking in truth and in light and fighting just like Charlie did. Fight like Charlie, because Charlie fought like Jesus.
It's going to be interesting to see, Kim, how this plays out, because I'm looking at a trajectory. I'm looking at a car, a runaway train, if you will, going down Interstate 5, 100 miles an hour. There's a brick wall. Nobody's pulling the brakes. This, if I'm looking at this intellectually, there is no other outcome except extreme violence, which has extreme pain and suffering. I don't see a way out. I don't. A second coming of Jesus, a revitalization of Christianity, and or a violent revolution. I think those are two choices. I think that's
JJ,
all that's being
I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna disagree with you here, and I'm gonna tell you why. We have a God that is so big. If we rely upon our own strength, we're not gonna get nowhere. But if we rely upon that supernatural strength, that same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead that we have access to, let me tell you, you tell that mountain to move, it'll move. We, together with the power of prayer, speaking out, declaring, we will break the strongholds. Remember Gideon's army? Those aren't just stories. Those are facts. And they happen everywhere. It's going to take us united. See, they bring us in these coliseums. They bring us together because they know that when they're together and they create a story and they create an energy, they suck off that energy. They create from that energy. What if we begin to come together and unite in the energy of love, of truth, right? And we begin to take our power back that way. We speak it out and we cancel the strongholds. Satan is afraid of us. We're not afraid of him.
I agree that God can do anything. Absolutely believe that. I don't think that he will in this time. I don't think there's enough of us praying to him. I believe Satan is winning. I believe there's times that when you ask God to leave, he goes, okay, and he leaves. What other explanation is there for the demonic forces that we're living through today? You believe God is here when his babies are being slaughtered, or you think God says, I'm going to pull back and then I'm going to rain down terror? So as much as I believe that, and I do, I strongly believe in the power of God. He can change everything in a second. I don't think that he's going to. I think it's going to allow us to hurtle down farther and farther and farther until we rise up.
Do not repent. You're so right, JJ. You are right. If we do not repent, 2 Chronicles 7:14, that's the call. That's the call for America right now. It's the only hope. God says, if my people who are called by my name will seek my face, pray, turn from their wicked ways, I will hear their voice, forgive their sin, and heal their land. It is the only way at this point for we the people to truly take our power back. There needs to be an actual repentance, and it starts right here, right now, with me and you.
You're right. I know. We got to start here, and that's why we're here doing it. Before I let you go, I want my audience to know that over 1,000 of my audience members have already joined patriotsmade.com. And this is one way that I partner with an organization to take our power back, meaning not going to the box stores, not going and buying products from companies that hate us, that have historically hated us, but buying products from a company that is in America, produces clean, like literally clean products. So give my audience just an elevator speech, a fast 60-second elevator speech. Why? Why should they go to Patriots Made and begin the process of taking their power back?
I'm going to tell you what, this morning I was on the phone with Susie, and Susie loves you. She loves your show, and she loves our USA made products. She made the switch about 5 months ago. And do you know what? She has had to go through some of the toughest times in her life these past 5 months. But because of the tools in the toolbox, she's literally been able to sustain herself, her thinking, because she has nutrition that absorbs. That is the best of science and nature. And our USA manufacturer can provide that because they don't have advertisers and distributors. They can put the highest quality natural ingredients in every single product. They are the ones that shook up the entire nutritional community. So she's got tools in place to feed her family, to feed her mind, her body, so that she can literally take her power back in the midst of the challenges she has going on. So our USA manufacturer is key. I took my power back 20 years ago. I said, I'm not buying from Johnson & Johnson, Colgate and Palmolive, all of the big box retailers, because why? Well, they feed into BlackRock and Vanguard. And we are left sick by all the parabens, alcohol, sulfates, triclosan, and then we're fed into the pharmaceutical industry. It's the cycle to hell. No, take your power back just like we did. We made the switch 20 years ago, best choice we ever made. So why should people make the switch? Why are we going to continue to support the beast? When are we going to say, I'm going to put what's good in my body, surround myself with what's good, and I'm going to take the advice from Maha, Make America Healthy Again, and I actually know where to go because we have the resource, patriotsmade.com/JJ. We all get to take our power back. JJ and I and our teams are there to support you. People go, oh my gosh, is this really Kim? Yes, it's Kim, because we're committed to our patriots having what they need to take on this fight. patriotsmade.com/JJ. Go tap on in. A video is going to pop up and we will personally reach out to make sure your wellness needs are taken care of.
Kim Yater, you're the best. I have a little bit of hope pumped into my tank right now.
Come on, so JJ.
I don't know if it's going to last me to next Thursday, but we'll see. We'll see. Thank you, Kim. You're the best.
Love you.
Thank you, Kim. Love you too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Kim Yater, takeyourpowerbackshow.com, takeyourpowerbackshow.com. She's the best. Even when you're down, you talk to her, she's just full of energy, hope, and truth. Kim Yater. I'm going to talk about something that I haven't talked about really at all, because I have been, I'll be honest, it's the Charlie Kirk assassination. And I have been watching and keeping my mouth shut. Just keeping my mouth shut. Because nothing anyone has said has made a lick of sense. Nothing. I mean, you got Turning Point USA guy saying that a 30-06 bullet didn't exit Charlie Kirk's skin because he has superhuman skin. Have you ever seen a rifle, 30-06 rifle shot go down range? It'll tear through an animal, tear through a deer. We're not talking about Charlie Kirk got shot in the chest. Even then, I'm like, it's still going to go through. He got shot in the neck. The neck with the weakest bones in your body is your spine. Is your neck muscle, your neck bones, your spine, because it has to be flexible to move. I mean, just feel your neck right now and think, that's not going to stop anything. So it never made any sense to me. The other thing that never makes any sense to me, everyone says, well, that's the entry wound. The explosion in the blood that you see is the entry wound. No, it's not. It doesn't work that way. Even high-power rifles that are going through, if you listen to snipers and you talk to them, a lot of times the entry wound gets sealed up. It's going so fast that like it pierces the skin like a needle, and then the skin closes around it. And they have to actually look for the entry wound. And then the exit wound is always an explosion. I mean, it's an explosion. And then I see people that are security detail. Look, my father was Secret Service, high up Secret Service. I was in law enforcement, which is security, planning. How do you react when this happens? How do you react when that happens? What do you do? What's the protocol? What's the procedures? Do you know what one procedure is in Secret Service, security, or in law enforcement? When the guy you're protecting or your partner, like say in my realm in law enforcement, when my partner gets shot, I don't jump over the table, pick things up off of my dead partner or off of the ground, hand them to other security people in my detail or other uniformed officers that work with me, and then they run away from the scene. Let me say this again because I'm going to show you this video. Charlie Kirk gets shot. Charlie Kirk falls off his chair. We've all seen it. His security detail rushes over tables and barricades and then begins to pick things up, hands it to people, each other, and their security team runs away. Has anybody in law enforcement looked at this and just said, what the hell am I looking at? How did this happen? Nothing about the shooter makes sense. Could he be the shooter? Sure. Could I be completely wrong in the video I'm going to show you? Sure. This is the beauty, if you will, and I put beauty in quotations, the beauty of what our government has created. They've created an atmosphere where we believe in nothing. We don't even know what we're looking at is real. Is this AI? Did somebody concoct this? Did somebody make this up? But this has been exploding over the last 48 hours as a gentleman has found and been able to slow down the video. Somebody that I really respect, that I did a documentary with, Ryan Mattis, putting this out. And he has been like, he puts stuff out. He sends me stuff all the time. And I'm just like, bro, just keep going. I really don't even want to know, because I don't know what's real. And I don't even want to dive into this because it's so screwed up. And he sends me something last night and says, you've got to look at this, man. And I text him back, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I said to him. This is the first time that anything makes sense. And I go off of common sense and what I feel through historical experience. I overlay that on what I'm seeing, and then that's how I come to my conclusions. This video is 3 minutes and about 30 seconds. It's worth the 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's watch this, and then let's talk about it.
Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's Israeli security detail killed Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk's assassin is caught on tape. Blake Bednar has brought us this video. We'll break it down. Take a look at this. Here it is from the wide angle. Watch Charlie Kirk's right side of his t-shirt. Watch the lavalier lapel mic. Do you see it explode? Let's bring it in just a little bit closer. Watch this. Put it in a freeze frame. That is the explosion from Charlie Kirk's lavalier lapel mic. Want to see it again? Bring it in closer. Remember when we told you that that was absolutely an exit wound? Yeah, it is. Check the trajectory of the round that was deployed from that lavalier lapel mic. That went directly from Charlie Kirk's lapel. That went directly from underneath Charlie Kirk's white t-shirt up through his neck and created the exit wound that we told you was an exit wound immediately when we saw that exit wound. First we had exploding pagers. Now we have exploding mics. Do you remember the vector analysis from John Bray? That proves that all of the activity came from the mic that Charlie Kirk was wearing. Remember the palm gun guy in the brown shirt, that shadowy looking guy with the sunglasses? Yeah, he pushes the detonator. Clear as day.
Gang violence. Great.
That's the assassin. That's the guy that pushes the detonator, which perfectly aligns with the explosion that pushes that projectile through Charlie's right side of his neck and out the left side, creating the exit wound. That might just look like the chaos that you would expect after someone was publicly executed in broad daylight in front of 3,000 people. But in no way did that trigger man, that assassin in the brown shirt with the sunglasses, act alone. We have video now from Destiny that shows the handoff of this remote detonator. We had John Cullen on the program last week, and he made a great point about ballistic acoustics being altered to hide the location of the real shooter. Well, the same can be said to distract from the fact that there was no shooter. Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk. This guy, brown shirt guy, he's the assassin.
Oh, way. If you want security, the Israelis know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Do I know if it's Israeli security? Do I know if it's Israel? Do I know all of that? No, I don't know. But I'm looking at it from the lens of 24 years in law enforcement. You do not jump over a table, reach down on your dead partner's body, pick something up, hand it off to somebody, or have someone hand something to you and you run away. Or you're the big security guard and you end up on the ground. Maybe he tripped. But when you're watching him on the ground, he's looking for something. And then he runs away. These are not, again, these are not, I can understand if this guy and that guy and this other guy were college students and they're like, I'm getting the F out of here. And they're running to that tunnel and they're gone. I get it. I'm not saying that you're a coward. I'm saying I get it, understand. But when you're the security team, you're not running. You're not paid to do that. And that didn't look like frantic security guys throwing their hands up and saying, screw it, and running. It looked kind of coordinated amongst immense chaos, didn't it? It looked coordinated. And why this is important to discuss is because we have no trust in the institutions of America. The FBI is trying to tell you another, not one, another 20-something with no social media, assembled a gun on a roof. The scope had to be off. He had a direct shot at Charlie Kirk. It hit something on Charlie Kirk and ricocheted, and that was the entry wound, and his skin is too brittle for it to come out. Disassembled his rifle, put it in a backpack that's going to be too small, runs, jumps off a building that we can't see a gun, runs into the woods, reassembles the gun, leaves the gun there, gets on his phone and texts his gay, transgender, furry lover everything that he did in perfect English. Do you know how many mistakes you would make when your body is dumping? Like your thumbs are not even be able to work. But he took the time to perfectly text his gay, transgender, furry lover every little detail to convict him. Do you believe anything? I don't. And everything that I hold dear to me, I'm holding tighter and tighter and tighter, because we live in a world that is vile, that is dark, that is violent, that is corrupt, and there's nowhere to turn. There's nowhere to turn. No one has your best interest at heart. I hate that I have to say this out loud, but I tell my son this. I tell him, do not trust anyone. Do not trust any institution or organization. That's sad, but that's the world we live in.